Hi, welcome back to Heretic Owl Tarot. My name is Liz, your guide on this journey on this channel. I want to say, first of all, thank you so much for such a positive response to the human design profile videos. I know, obviously, if this is your first time, welcome. But the last time I put out videos, I said that I was going to be focusing more on the human design profile readings versus doing both those and the zodiac sign readings. And I also said that was just the guidance that I received, basically. So I feel like, it's following my strategy and authority, following that feeling. So, that's what we do, even if it doesn't make sense to us. So there is a link in the description below if you don't know your human design profile. Even if you don't know anything about human design, this isn't necessarily to teach you about human design or, kind of be so advanced that you don't get it. This is more just message by profile because it's just an added element, a different way of receiving messages outside of your sun, moon, rising, right? So it is still about the tarot message. And of course, I do generally give some sort of blurb about each profile before we begin. So with that being said, we're using the Oracle of Destiny and the Muse tarot today. I was kind of like, for a couple days, I was just kind of like whining to myself because I haven't bought any new decks and I can't even tell you how long. But then I was reminded that I had bought this deck and another one these were probably the last, this deck and the other one is probably the last decks that I bought. And I just kind of put them on a desk out of the way and totally forgot about them. So I was glad that it, kind of presented itself like, hello, I'm here, I'm new. So we're going to use it and the Muse. What was that? The World? Oh, that was the Wheel. Interesting, because I've seen that a lot lately. Anyway, let's get into it. So, if you're here, and allegedly you are, you are potentially a 4-1 or an opportunist investigator, which is the only profile that has that fixed or juxtaposition incarnation cross. So, I do have a little blurb about the profile, and I got this from Facebook back in July, and unfortunately the images that I saved doesn't have like the creator's name on it, so I can't credit them, which I would love to do. But this is the 12 archetypal defense mechanisms of the Not Self series. So we talk a lot about the kind of positive attributes of each profile, but we don't usually talk about the shadow or the not self theme. And this is they're pretty short, but definitely drop in the comments if this kind of feels like you. It says, 4-1, they feel unaccepted out of their insecurity. They try to become accepted in order to feel secure, but in trying, they end up distancing themselves from others in the process. Thus, they hide their light under a bushel of fear of being resisted. Does that sound like you? Because, again, right, like the 4-1, that's the only profile that has that fixed fate. Like, you are supposed to follow your own authority, like your own guidance. Like you're not supposed to be a follower, but if that feels uncomfortable to you, or, you're wounding in ego and trauma and all that stuff that creates a not self conditioning, that'll make you try to fit in, try to be accepted, try to shrink. And you're not supposed to. So let's get an oracle card for you. Interesting that it came out in the reverse. I mean, I'm not going to take these ones in the reverse, but we might just consider that a little bit when we're reading about this card. So this says nails. This looks like a harp that they're playing. We're going to read from the book on this because it also it attributes the card to a placement on your hand, which is kind of cool. But let's get your tarot cards out and then we'll go from there. I just kind of get this feeling of, like, I just got this image of, like the first day of school, you're wearing your new stuff, right? Like it's a new school year, it's a new grade, you may be going to a new school. So it's like, looking your best makes you feel more confident. And I'm just using school as an example. It doesn't have to be that, but just because they have these nice, pink nails and they're playing this harp, it's like, it's almost even maybe breaking stereotypes is coming to mind. Very interesting. Like, just because you look a certain way, it's like, don't judge a book by its cover. We have the world, we have strength. I'll fix those after we get all the cards out. How many cards are this? 3, okay. We have the Empress, 10 of Inspiration, or the 10 of Wands, 5 of Inspiration, or the 5 of Wands. Very interesting. Also, I'm looking at all these planets here in the Empress card, and I've been staring at, oh, that's too many, at the moon, and this kind of looks like Saturn on their hand. It's interesting because Saturn's come up in another reading. Maybe that's not really all that interesting. It's just, I don't know, for whatever reason, Saturn is showing themselves. But I'm going to Google because I'm just kind of curious, like, what it means when the moon is, I want to say, conjunct Saturn, like when they're really close together in a transit. I'm just kind of curious. And then on the Empress card, we have Earth, or the world, which is also on the world card. And then I think this is Saturn also, or it's Jupiter, but I don't know. I don't actually know like what the planets actually look like. I should at my ripe old age, but I don't. There's also too many cards. We just need one. We have the 6 of Swords. And then the Ace of Wands. Beautiful. Okay. So let's read from the book, and then we're going to read about the moon and Saturn. So it says, aspect of the hand, the fingertips, or I guess the nails, really, right? Fingertips. Nails are a window to our health and temperament. Healthy nails are firm, compact, and strong. The color is uniform, and the shape is in harmony with the rest of the hand. This is not always the case, and even the way we care for our nails speaks volumes. Long ones indicate sensitivity and low resistance. Short nails are a sign of an organized and methodical nature, which may tend toward anger. Square ones reveal a temperament that is lively and curious about everything. fanned out suggests susceptibility. Divinatory meaning, with our nails we scratch, but we also softly etch wax. Let's protect the most delicate part of our hands, which we bite when we are nervous. Let's play the harp and paint our nails. Nails teach us that everything depends on how you use what you have. What an interesting message. I mean, maybe you are a nail biter. Maybe there are some signs of health, because I know, if you, and I don't really have, like those half moons at the top of your nails that can signify digestive issues, which your girl has. If they're ridged, if there's lines going through them. So anyway, I mean, maybe there is some indication in your nails about your health, if that's something that's been a concern to you. But also, like I said, even just going back to the beginning, how, like if you like the way that you're feeling, if you have confidence about yourself, then it changes the energy of the thing that you're doing. So it's kind of like, like if you need to get your nails done to feel more confident, to, put yourself out there, or to take a leap, or, just to kind of separate yourself from the group, do that. I was even like, as I was shuffling, I was even thinking about, those women's basketball coaches that are, on the sidelines in heels and dresses and stuff. Like, there's been articles written about them, because it's like, what in the world? Like, these they're literally coaches for basketball teams, and they're out there in these heels and these dresses, and they look gorgeous, but that's how they feel good. That's how they want to present themselves, as they should, and they look good doing it. So I think that is a message. And I did actually Google the moon conjunct Saturn, because like I said, I don't know if you can see right here on the hand. So, and then, like I said, in this Empress card, there's a few different planets in here, but there's Saturn and Earth, which normal astrology doesn't take Earth into account, but human design does. So you might even just want to see what gate your Earth is in, and see what gate your Saturn is in, and just Google those things. Like, Google the gate and the line and see what comes up. Okay, so there's a couple different things. I'm just going to read a couple different blurbs that I found. It says, can confine the thought process of mind and boundaries, or can limit the opportunities and goals that you want to achieve. Gives you an emotional investment in working hard and making steady progress towards your goals. From a young age in this life, and likely in past lives, you were forced to get used to extremely difficult circumstances and environments. Moon conjunct Saturn has a stabilizing and grounding effect on your emotions. It makes you sensible, realistic, self-controlled. You can display a sober, self-restrained, conservative personality. Your social relationships can lack spontaneity, enthusiasm, and naturalness. So, I think it's kind of, it's interesting. And I don't know, maybe there was a message in there in some capacity. I love that we start with the World card and we end with the Six of Swords. I also love how many major arcana are out here. I love how many fire cards are out here. We have 2 earth cards. This is also air, which is the swords, and then we have fire. So yeah, okay, let's just get into it. So the World card is the end of a cycle. There's clearly something coming to an end. especially with it being the first card that came out, like it's here now. Here now. Like this would be something that you would already be aware of in some aspect of your life. And I feel like it does have something to do about like the need or desire or want to fit in, and the kind of being a follower, kind of going along with the pact, if you will. Because in this card, interestingly enough, we have these vases being carried by, I don't know, are these cows? I don't know what those are. I can't see. They're like I don't know. But see how they're all lined up perfectly? You know, they're all just in a straight line, going up the hill. And then here's this figure that is clearly not like the others. And not only that, but they got curious and opened this vase maybe, because I don't know if you can see, but there's like glitter and like stardust, to me is the first word that came to mind, coming out of this vase. But I feel like it's like finding something within yourself. It's like, like allowing some level of creativity or passion or something to come out of yourself, because the Ten of Wands has to do with our passions, with creativity, the actions that we take. How are we acting on our passions? What actions are we taking in our creativity? How are we communicating those things? What's the motivation behind the actions that we're taking? Tens are also a completion. So not only do we have the major arcana card for a completion of a cycle, but we have a 10. So, this also, the 10 of Wands generally talks about relieving burden. I see Wands as being information cards too, because that's what you get by trying things. You figure out what works, what doesn't work, what do you like, what don't you like. And you have to actually try things in order to discover those things, right? So it becomes information, it becomes knowledge and wisdom. So by the time we get to the 10, it's like, okay, I'm going to take all of this that I've learned. Same with the World card, because it's the end of the Fool's journey. So you take all of the lessons that you've learned, all of the experiences that you've been through, everything you've tried, and you move on. You move on to the next thing. Or you also even recognize like how much of a change that has created within yourself. Like you don't owe anybody the same version of yourself as yesterday, right? Like you can evolve, you can change, you can step out of this line, you can be like, you know what? No, like I'm actually not content just doing the status quo here. I'm going to stand out. And also too, even because the opportunist line, the fourth line, it is about making connections with people. It's about networking, having acquaintances, like how your greatest opportunities are going to be found within your community. You might actually learn a lot from your community too, with that investigation or investigator line, on the unconscious side. Some of your greatest lessons may come from the people in your life. And then we have the Strength card, which is, determination, perseverance. This is that inner strength, it's finding something within yourself, like finding that desire, finding your reason why, even, like there's that saying, hold on to your why. Like, why are you doing the things that you're doing, right? This is, even when nobody else gets it, having the strength to continue to do what it is you feel called to do. And even too, they're sitting on top of this lion. So it's kind of like, they're being carried to where they're going. She doesn't seem stressed about it. This is also, very like strategy and authority, because, your strategy and authority is designed to help you enter into the correct experiences for you, even if they don't make sense. And then your profile is how you interact with those experiences and people. This also has like big protection vibes. Like, yeah, you may be being, guided in some capacity here, but also protected, because nobody's gonna fuck with a lion, right? So definitely big protection vibes. I don't know why I was gonna say projection. That's kind of interesting, especially since we have the Five of Inspiration under, which is the Five of Wands. Anytime I see the Five of Wands, I think of Mulan. I love Mulan, but I think of Mulan in like warrior training, because, when they first get to warrior training, they're a mess, right? Like, but it's also competitive, but really nobody knows what they're doing, and the prince or whoever he was like, there's no way I can turn these people into actual warriors. And then all of a sudden, Mulan climbs that pole and everything changes, right? But that's like how the Five of Wands is. It is competition. It's like, there may be people around you who are envious or competitive. This could even be like conflict or disagreements. But it's like, fives are transitionary energies. So it's to get you from point A to point B. They're growing pains. So it's nothing to like pitch a tent in and get stuck, because that conditioning is going to help you get to the Six of Wands, which is victory, success, recognition. And it's interesting, with this card, there's all of these, it looks like mirrors, but they almost look more like portals, because it's not like it's reflecting their image back to them, but it's showing, windows to a different place, sunny skies, And I do think that this is more about like looking within yourself and discovering, again, something about yourself, because I feel like that's already come up a couple times since we've been doing this reading. But it's discovering something about yourself and accepting something about yourself, and it's going to take dedication and work to get there. And I feel like also what's interesting is that most of these aren't even looking in the windows or the mirrors. This one kind of is. Even this one right here, about how I'm trying to like be, kind of like PG or G here, just about how powerful you are, like how much power you actually do have in your being. Maybe there's even some sort of like healing that needs to go on too with your self-image. And then we have the Empress. This is Taurus, Libra. This just feels like unveiling a new version of yourself, or even just, showing an authentic version of yourself. Because, she's kind of holding up her hood or her veil here. Even to just looking at like either your design, maybe there's like some big transits coming up for you, but it's like, it kind of has this like destined or fated aspect in the sense of like timing. Even again, right, like just accepting that fixedness within yourself. But the Empress is all about abundance. It's the divine feminine, not the gender, but the energy. So, intuition, being in flow, nurturing. There's a fertility aspect to it. Of course, that can be like biological reproduction, but it's also about like reproducing abundance in your life, reproducing opportunities in your own life. And again, even we were talking about strategy and authority, that is exactly what it is designed to do, is to create the path of least resistance for your highest good. And then the Six of Swords, moving forward. That's why I said, like, I love that we start with the World and we end with the Six of Swords, because this is crossing a bridge. Within yourself, though, this feels very personal. You could be moving. Maybe you decide to move. It could be that. Swords having to do with our minds, ideas, inspiration, thoughts, how we communicate those things. Being objective. It's divine truth. It's also, I see swords as being the card of ego, because it's generally where we hear our ego is in our minds. And that's created by the stories that we attach to experiences, whether they're true or not, and whether they're ours or not. But it's the reasons why we do and don't do things. This just almost kind of feels like this, I want to say rite of passage, but it's like birthing a new version of yourself is how this feels. Maybe this is somebody else. Maybe this is, if you believe in a higher power, there's the moon there also. So, there could be, maybe you've been working with moon magic, new moons, full moons. There was a blue moon in August. Maybe you did some work around that. I believe that is there a full moon coming up in Aries? No, that's not Aries, that's Leo. Sorry. I don't know why I was pointing to that. That's interesting. But again, there's this protection thing, because this hand is giving you the opportunity to cross this canyon without having to navigate these spikes. Even just their body language too, it's like a sign of respect. So again, it does feel like just an evolution, like within yourself, but there's a part of yourself that is birthing or allowing this new version to cross these spikes, but it's like out of respect. And then we have the Ace of Wands at the bottom of the deck. I love this. Brand new beginning on the other side of this Six of Swords. Brand new, aces are new beginnings. Wands, again, action, communication, passion, creativity. It's that spark. So there could be something that you are finding a new passion in, or a new way of creating, or being creative, or creatively expressing yourself. This feels very hot too, so maybe even if you have access to a sauna or steam in some capacity, it's like exfoliating, sweating out the old stuff, which is kind of interesting. That's an interesting message. Maybe you're moving to a desert, like Arizona, Nevada, New Mexico. The Four of Swords is about healing and rest. And I love that it is between the Ace and the Two of Wands. It might even just give you a feeling of like a breath of fresh air. Like, it's not going to take a lot of mental work. It's not going to feel like work. Maybe it is healing in some capacity, whatever this Ace of Wands is. Maybe even getting an astrocartography reading. I mean, maybe your moon or Saturn lines somehow would be good for you. I don't know if Saturn lines are good for anybody. I'm not an astrocartologist, but there's a really good one on Instagram called the oh my gosh, the Xbot astrologer. I love her, Meg. Might be a good idea to have her read your locational astrology if you are thinking about moving. And then the Chariot, speaking of movement, like things moving forward very quickly. And this could be a move. But at least, there's like forward movement. We have the moon again with the moon, which just kind of feels like, because these two figures, they're like looking away, it feels like what's after this is not important right now. Like, it's not to be revealed right now. And it's like, it's just a matter of getting through this and to get here, Beautiful. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you for taking me on a ride today. I will talk to you soon. Bye.